first gen was born in Jersey. However, I was cloned by Clonate in Canada. My model number is 0112568 if anyone wants to see the registration at Clonate.
皆さんこんにちは、みゆです。今日はクローン人間に関する動画です。この冒頭で喋っている人結構驚きじゃないですかね。あの人クローン人間らしいんですよ。モデルナンバーがあるそうですし、この番号が振られているところも約束のネバーランドというアニメとか漫画の作品にすごいそっくりだなと思いました。実はクローン人間については去年ぐらいから個人的に調べていて、この動画を10月ぐらいに見つけて自分用にまとめてたんですけれども、動画を出す気はさらさらなくて、内容が内容ですし、興味のある人が、自分で探したりしてたどり着けばいい情報なんじゃないかというふうに思っておりました。ですが少し前にエンドゥさんが過去にクローン人間はあったのではないかという内容の動画をアップされておりましたので、徐々に受け入れられつつあるのではないかと思って、私もクローン人間の作り方4種類という動画を出そうかなと思いました。で、この冒頭の方が作られたというカナダのクローン会社の科学主任の人のインタビューをご覧ください。
Here is the CEO and founder of Clonaid.
Today is Bridget Boisselier, who is scientific director for a private company called Clonaid. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation. The goal for us to produce a human embryo by human cloning.
このカナダのクロネイドという会社、調べたらちゃんとホームページがありました。で、この科学主任のブリジット・ボアサリエさんなんですけど、ブリジット・バルドーに似てると思ったのは気のせいでしょうか
？How do you do it? I look on Twitter, there you are. Facebook, there you are. Television, there you are. How do you do it?
I have a clone.
I was going to say that. There's two of you.
Cat's out the bag. Okay? It's about a good 3 of me. We broke it. They didn't want to release it yet. This is major news that I'm giving you. I'm cloned.
Okay, I appreciate it.
That's why I'm able to do all that I do.
I was like, that's amazing. It's what is, I've been trying to explain to people that, and it's because it's really different. It's not de-aging, right? So it's not my face and they just made it look younger. It's a 100% digital character. It's the first ever 100% digital human. It was 8 months before I saw the scenes, and when I saw me and my new digital clone, it was spectacular. It was actually a little freaky.
自分はクローンがいるんだよっていうことを公言している有名人が、もうすでにいるっていうことですね。で、次からが4種類のクローン人間の作り方の説明になります。音声だけの説明になっております。入っている動画はあまり深い意味がない動画で、ジーンレコードという人らしいんですけれども、この方の詳しい素性はわからないです。明かせないんじゃないかなと思います。それではご覧ください。
Well, there's 4 different kinds of clones.
Right.
You have to realize first. So in one of the types they call a clone, I don't really look as a clone because to me a clone means you've copied the body and transferred the consciousness or whatever into the body of the that you've created. But in Biden's case, he's those that you see with the black eye, the left eye blackened. That's a ceremony in which I guess you could call it cloned. There's in the dumps when they were creating them, they found underground these little tunnels with these little kind of lizard-like creatures that are about 2 to 3 feet high. Donald Marshall in his interviews and his things on that are out there on the internet talk about it. And so those little creatures, when they're adult, they reach adulthood, they're a little proboscis, kind of like tube-like thing on the top of their head, and they put it over your eye. It injects its cerebral spinal fluid and its consciousness into your body. It goes down the optic nerve into the brain, and it kills the person, and they're dead for about a week while this little vril creature is taking over the person and retaking and activating the brain. But it can only take over the first, second, third, and fifth chakra, which is your brain. And it doesn't run the heart chakra, and it's not very good on the throat chakra or the willpower either. So it doesn't really have a will of its own, and it doesn't really have any kind of compassion or any of that, but it does have the ability to think and pull up your memories for a period of time. But as time goes on, the memories are lost, its ability to tap into the memory. So that's why you start to see dementia and all of that sitting in with the vril clones, like you see with Biden, where, you know, the black eye thing. And then later, as time went on, he got where he couldn't remember who's who, where he is, etc.
Wow.
So there's essentially 4 types of clones. That's one. That's not what was in Notre Dame. One is they actually take the genetic material. They take a fertilized zygote from a woman in a lab, and they can take the genetics out of it, erase it genetically, and imprint through like CRISPR technology, where viruses, use, like the AIDS virus, for example, uses reverse transcriptase, so it inverts its genetic code into the host cell. And then they're able in a lab to grow that new zygote imprinted with the wand to adulthood. And then they can age advance it. So they can even age advance a newly born child, baby, to whatever age they want in a matter of weeks. So they could go, like if they wanted to clone Biden for real, they could get to the age that person is. The problem they're having is with that technology is on the 18th and 19th chromosome, they're having trouble with that transferring over. What that means is certain abnormalities in the way that the clone looks. So almost always in those clones where they do that type of cloning, the earlobes are attached, for example. Other abnormalities happen as well that are obvious. The facial structure is not absolutely identical. Also, because they're rapidly growing it, often they're not of the same height. They might be a bit shorter, like some of Hillary's clones. You see, she's suddenly 1.5 feet shorter. The face may look slightly different again. So there are differences in things going on. And then another type of clone, which is done primarily at Bethesda, is called a robotoid. And so robotoids, what they do is they put a person in a chamber that is recording all of their biorhythms. What it does is it's downloading that and putting it on a hard drive. So that not just your biorhythms, but it also records all your thoughts and memories and all of your genetics. Then they take you out of that chamber, and a particle beam is sent through that is being patterned by the information they downloaded, so that it creates this energetic being at first that coalesces down to matter, and physically it looks exactly like the person, and it remembers everything, and it actually thinks it is the person. Of course, there's no soul in there at all, so it's not having, if the person had any kind of compassion. But because it's not actually a physical being in the sense of that's how it was created, was energy first, it actually does what they call derez. Like if you saw the movie Tron, the original movie Tron, where they derez, they spin off into particles of light. So they have to go back to Camp David, usually is where the main area, like you see many of the presidents of famous people going there. Those famous people having to go back to certain locations where they would get recharged. Otherwise, they start to derez. And so that's another type of clone they have. And so there's another one where they are actually able to, a more advanced already growing child in the womb, they can erase the genetics now and overlay that too. So those are the primary four.
クローン人間の作り方のまとめをご覧いただきました。個人的には2番目の作り方であった、ノートルダム寺院で昔からされていたっていう説明があったんですけど、2019年にノートルダム寺院って結構大火災になったんですよね。とんがった尖塔が改修工事の時に全部焼け落ちるっていう、結構大きな火事になってもう話題になってたんですけど、ノートルダム寺院のすごいドアとか絵とかの外に彫られてる装飾ってすごい壮麗なゴシック様式でものすごい凝ってるんですけど、なんか全部怖い感じなんですよね。映画でもノートルダムの鐘っていう映画あって、そこに屋根に住んでいるセムシ男っていう人が出てきますし、なんていうんですかね、昔から何かやってたやばいところのような気がしますね。火災の原因はいろいろ言われてるんですけど、噂の範疇なんですが、毎年結構やばい儀式をしていたとか言われてますね。皆さん知ってるかとは思うんですけど、気になる人は調べてみてください。あと実際にこのクローンの方が世の中で活躍している時にフリーズしてしまったり、パタッと止まったり、誤作動してしまう、放送事故のような、動画がありますので、それを見てみましょう。
And that will bring two shots for the Anthony out on the floor. What is he doing? Well, they're playing around it. And it's a travel. They call a travel.
With another knee. But at the end of the day, I have amazing teammates. Guys like Draymond, everybody on this team, they come over there, they wrap their hands around me like, yo.
That's exactly how you have to have a certain amount of distance between the bodies in junior high.
Yes, like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of memories today, actually. It's a big day in music history.
35 years ago today, Elvis Presley passed away, the king of rock and roll. And as Mark Cohn says in his great song, Walking in Memphis, there's a pretty little thing waiting for the king down in the jungle room.
It also seems sort of day to night-ish. Like
Absolutely.
She looks great during the day, but she could put on some. I mean, she's wearing heels.
Yeah, or like
real heels.
or a statement earring.
You all right? You okay?
No.
You sure? She's not.
Here, come on, walk with me.
Okay.
Walk with me.
I got.
The 1981 Silver Scroll Award has been presented to Counting the Beat, the song by the Swingers, and that was #1 in Australia and New Zealand. So yeah.
Brilliant. From 1981, The Lost Scroll, it's out there. All right, Alex, we might come back to you if... Oh, we've kind of lost you there.
We actually go back to... Hold on a minute. Sir, can somebody help me?
Jim. Sir. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Here. You okay?
Yep. Okay. I'm going to sit you down.
Yeah.
Can I get a chair?
Yeah, a chair. Take some water. What happened?
Our first caress.
Look at this.
The cost is entirely fallacious, and I'll just give you one brief example. The cost of putting solar panels, I'm not quite sure what Simon's doing there. Is he okay? I think he's not okay. Simon is not okay. Yeah.
Something's happened to him.
Oh no.
Something's happened to him. Are you okay? Seizure? Are you okay?
Sorry, I've passed out.
The President of Portugal fainted during a speech to the country's military. Aníbal Cavaco Silva was taken ill during ceremonies for Portugal's National Day. It happened at the same time that trade unionists began protesting. He was assisted off stage but returned half an hour later to finish his address.
はい、ご視聴いただきありがとうございました。だから結構クローン人間ってメンテナンスが定期的に必要だったりして意外と維持するの大変そうな感じですよね。特になんかこうフリーズしちゃう系のやつって3番目のロボトイドっていうやり方で作られたやつなのかなっていう風にちょっと思いました。まあ光の粒子ビームでエネルギー体をいきなりこう生成して人体をこう作って全てのバイオリズムを転写させるっていう説明で一体どうやるのかは分かんないんですけど、まあなんかそれの方がまあ2番目の受精卵とかを使うよりかはちょっと手軽なんじゃないかなっていう分かりませんけれども思っています。まあ有名人がよくねエネルギーチャージに来るデイビッド地区っていうのがあるっていう風に、動画の方は言ってたので、結構いるんじゃないかなっていう風に思います。クローン法っていう法律も実は密かに作られてるので、なんかそのうちクローン人間がいっぱい湧いてもうすでにいる可能性高いんですけど、そういう世界になるかもしれないので、心の準備はしといた方がいいのかもしれないですね。個人的にはもし自分のクローンがいたら仲良くなれるのかなっていうのは考えたことがあって、どうなんですかね。この映像を見たらちょっと気持ち悪いかなって、自分がもう一人いてフリーズしたりしてたらちょっと仲良くはなれないなっていう風に思いました。やっぱり魂がないから思いやりがないっていう風にすごい説明されてたと思うんですけど、やっぱりこう肉体だけあってもやっぱ中に魂が入ってないと人間として機能しない、やっぱそういうねものなんだなって思いました。なので、こういったクローンの方故障したらなんかどうなるのかとかあんま考えたくないんですけど、安らかに生きていってほしいなって思っております。はい、ではご視聴ありがとうございました。みゆでした。